Welcome to Cardboard Box Games. I'm Adam.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Adam. This is episode 17, and we're going to be talking about the one-turn kill decks. In particular, the Library Access and the Penthe Seed combo. And I just want to get some thoughts. I've played with it, and I've also played against it. And I want to talk about, do we think it should change? Do we think it's fair to have that in the game? Do we think it's fun to have that in the game? So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Alright guys, so as always, we kick off this week's episode with Card of the Week.
Yep.
So Adam, why don't you start it off today?
My card is a disc creature, and it's Pit Lord. It's a demon, and right when you play it, you gain 2 amber. And this creature is taunt, but while Pit Lord is in play, you must choose Dis as your active house.
It's an interesting card. Me and Adam got 2 decks of him.
Yeah, you guys just opened decks, both of you.
Yeah. And we got another Horseman deck from
Is that in your Horseman deck, by the way?
It is in my Horseman deck.
That is
Pit Lord.
interesting.
I don't know if that's going to be
our
good,
second
though.
Horseman deck now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? You haven't played with it yet. I've played with it before. And I can kind of tell you how I feel, but I'm curious what your thoughts are without having probably played it.
So right away, I think it's kind of a bad card, but you gain 2 amber from playing its taunt. But if it's not really good unless you have other good disc cards with it.
You can just purposely suicide him, though.
I mean, you could, but I don't know any 9-power creatures.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
What if that is with 3 fates?
Yeah, if you did that, and then the next turn you saved up you had a dis hand where you could play it another turn, and then you 3-fate it and 2 other cards.
Yeah.
Because you could fight with it, kill something, then 3-fate it, and
then, yeah.
So you kind of want to die.
So if it's with the 3 fates, actually,
When you think about it, that gives you 2 amber.
It does.
My deck is with 3 fates with this guy.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
You have to try that, see how it works.
Yeah, I'll try that
Is
out.
that your deck that's got an 82 rating? Or is it your other deck?
I think that's my other deck.
Okay.
I don't know. It might
Well,
be.
that's my card. What's your card?
Well, I was gonna do Penthe Speed, but I can't say it, but you know what I mean. But I was like, we're gonna talk about it. So this is Life Web. I'm not sure if you've heard of this card before, but you gain an amber for playing it, and if your opponent plays 3 or more creatures, you steal 2.
And
What house is it?
It's untamed.
Yeah.
It seems pretty powerful kind of a card.
I mean, the raw amber itself is awesome.
Yeah. So even if your opponent didn't play 3, you still get an amber, which is nice. And if they're about to forge key, you can stop them.
And I've actually played against that before and had people play 2 of them against me, and they stole both times because I had played 3 creatures.
They stole 4 amber.
They stole 4 amber. Yeah. Plus, I mean, they gained 2 for playing it.
So that's enough for a key.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's powerful.
I like Life Web, but the only reason I like it is because it gives you the raw amber. I don't think I would like it if it didn't, because otherwise it's too situational. The awesome thing is, though, is if you have it in a deck that doesn't have a lot of creatures, and you're playing against a guy that does have a lot of creatures, it just gives you a little bit of catch up.
Yeah.
And Untamed doesn't really steal that much.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So that's the
I like
of
it.
Tamed.
I think it's a good card. Mine is a Shadows artifact called Special Delivery.
I like that.
I love this card, by the way.
Yeah.
It does give you a raw amber, which again, I really like raw amber on cards, especially cards that don't have an impact immediately on the board. So I love Special Delivery. But what sets this card apart to me is that it has an Omni ability.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is call Shadows one time to actually utilize this card. So you play it, and when you call Shadows, you deal 3 damage to a flank creature, and if that creature is destroyed, you purge it. And I watch out pretty actively for cards that are worth purging. So a Fagin or an Urchin or any of the cards that, when they recur them is actually super painful. A Choda. I love purging Choda off of this card. So yeah, and I've just really enjoyed it from the Learned Horned Letitia deck. And it did really well for me in our last tournament, which we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
So in our last tournament, there were 8 people there total.
We already talked about it in our last video.
We didn't really talk about it in our last video. If you didn't check out the last video,
You should definitely check it out.
This is our podcast, so we also do gameplay videos on YouTube. So check out our YouTube channel, Cardboard Box Games. We did a multiplayer gameplay video where we did talk a little bit about our tournament experience, but we're going to just talk about it a little bit here for the podcast episode as well.
Okay.
So there were 8 people that came out.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 of us were in the top 4.
Yeah.
Which is
So,
awesome.
I went 2-1. You went
3-0.
3-0.
I should have won it. That's
and you went
2-0.
2-1.
2-1, right?
2-1, yeah. And Adam, you and I lost to the same guy.
Yeah.
The other guy that was in the top 4.
You
beat
lost.
him.
Yeah, I beat
Oh,
him.
you beat him?
He beat him in the regulars, and then they had a Final 4
Which is
playoffs.
stupid. I don't like that.
So Andrew technically would have won the
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I like that they do that actually. And I ended up getting paired against a guy that had beat Adam and I before, and I beat him.
Barely.
So Adam and Andrew were playing against each other, and Adam beat Andrew. So it was like double upset going into the finals.
Yeah.
So Adam and I were in the finals, and Adam ended up beating me,
Yeah.
and he got a set of metal keys, which is just awesome.
So there was huge odds for us to get the medal key since
Yeah.
us 3 were in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean we. It's always so funny because I ended up playing. I played the guy first. He beat me, and then you played him next, and then he beat you.
Yeah.
And then he played Andrew, and Andrew beat him.
Mhm.
But it was a close game. Like, it was pretty ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I think there was some, like, back and forth. The game could have gone either way. And same thing with my game, too. It was pretty close. Actually, you know what? I'm going back in my mind. The second game that I played against him was really close. The first game I played with him, he destroyed me. And I'm like, oh, man, this is not going to be a good tournament for me. But then I destroyed my other opponents. And then I go into the finals, and I beat him. And I'm like, okay, I just had a bad game that one game. But I love my deck, so now I have 2 chains on a new deck. How many chains do you have on your deck now?
I have 8.
He has 8 chains, so he's now got a power 2 level deck.
That's awesome.
And yours is
5.
5 chains on your deck.
Almost level 2. Power 2.
You have to do well at one more tournament.
Yep.
But the problem is, they're not really hosting any more tournaments because
They're not.
KeyForge is kind of like toned down because of
Yeah.
waiting on the next set.
They need to do sealed. That's the only thing that brought people.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next set though to get going, and I'm hoping that we can go to Atlanta. I keep waiting on Adam to tell me what day his event is that he's got. He needs to
Yeah.
get that figured out so we
Yeah,
can lock
for
that
sure.
in and start scheduling it.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that we're waiting on is that. But anyway, we finally got metal keys. Unfortunately, I was this close away from it being mine, but Adam ended up beating me.
Yeah.
And it was, I was happy for him, but I was also sad that I didn't.
Yeah.
So jumping into the next part of our video, which is our main topic.
Yes.
We've talked about this before, but we have a 1-turn kill deck.
We do.
We do, yes. Well, it's your deck.
It's my deck. It actually has Nepenthe Seed and Library Access, and then it has Chota, has Phase Shift. There's a bunch of cards in there that'll just allow you to, once you trigger it off, you can just infinitely draw your deck, gain a ton of amber, and then forge keys right away.
Yeah.
I
Powerful.
played against a deck on the Crucible the other day, 2 days ago,
Mhm.
at night, against a guy that had that, but he had key abduction.
Oh.
And he literally just was behind the thing. I had him 2 keys, and I had 2 keys and like 8 amber. He had no keys and some amber. I had just stopped and all that. He hit the combo and just beat me.
Oh,
So like, it's sort of a weird thing. So I guess the conversation for today is like, is it okay that we have decks in KeyForge that can just kill a player in 1 turn? And by killing a player, it's forging 3 keys.
Yeah.
Is that okay? And I want to get your thoughts on that. Andrew, I'm the first. I beat you. The first time I got mine to trigger off was against you.
Yeah.
You had basically, it was very early in the game. You had done a little bit, but not that much. What did you feel? What did that feel like to you when I destroyed you?
First off, I didn't even know it was an infinite deck, so I was like, okay, he's just gonna do all this. Okay, that's fine. And then I realized, oh, it's gonna be a game.
Yeah, because
It felt awful. It felt like, well, that's game. I should just, it's done.
there's nothing you can do. There's no reactions.
I was planning to like, oh, I can lock down a key if I do this. I can't wait to do that, but now it's like, I'm just gonna infinite kill you. It's not fun. It just feels bad. I don't like that. It's just too powerful. I wish they I don't know.
What do you think, Adam?
so I personally think it's a cool idea, but I don't think it's good as like a deck to play against opponents. Like, I feel like it's super unfair but it is pretty fun to try to do it.
Yeah.
But once an opponent does that to you, you automatically lose. You just have to, like, there's no way to come
You just
back.
concede.
And the same goes for you if you get it also. I feel like it's like a cheat code, you can call
It is. Somewhat like pay to win, but you don't really
And
pay.
I don't really like it. I feel like they should do something about this to get rid of it.
They should probably just add chains to it to make
So-
it harder.
The reason that I didn't play that deck at that last tournament, and I actually was talking to a few folks here about it, I'm like, and there were some people that had just started playing KeyForge. There were two guys there that had just started playing like 2 weeks ago. And I was thinking, like, I'm glad I didn't bring that deck, because it would not have been fun for them.
Yeah.
It's not fun for a new player to sit down and get destroyed. It's not fun for me to have that done to me. I love playing the deck,
Yeah,
and I
that's-
love doing it.
But it has to be fun for both of you.
But it really needs to be fun for both players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, when I lost that game to that key abduction deck, I got to thinking, like, you know what? That really was a game that I should have won. And just because our decks are not that many cards, right? It's 36 cards. You're more than likely going to be able to get that combo off.
Yeah.
If things have to work out. It's not 100%, but you can usually get the things that you need. And this particular deck had 2 Nepenthe Seeds.
Oh, God.
So he started off early playing a Nepenthe Seed. And, you know, I'm pretty bad about not always looking at their deck list on the Crucible. I look at their houses and I just try to think about what they could have.
Yeah.
And I like playing that way because it's sort of like sealed and you try to anticipate, all right, they might have this and they might do that.
A lot of people do that and see on Crucible.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why.
So Nepenthe Seed,
Yeah.
he used it and I'm like, okay, good, so I'm probably safe. And then he later on,
Had another one.
I played another one and I'm like, oh man.
He buy it.
And then I had my Nexus out, and he destroyed my Nexus, my creature that could take care of it. That was the only card I had that could.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, like, it was a game that I was so far ahead the entire time. And for him to, like, just in the last turn, be able to force 3 keys with that key abduction,
It's insane.
it was insane. So my next question is, like, should they change something about the way this works? And if they should, what do you think they should change? And maybe I'll pass this over to you, Adam.
So I think they should change it. And if they would change it, they'd probably do something like make it where you can't get that combinations index, but that would
Yeah.
make the infinite combo deck super rare.
Yeah, taking it out of new deck seems like a tough thing.
They
right?
could just like ban it completely out of like tournaments and stuff,
Or just
to
add
keep it
chains
fair.
to it.
You know,
Yeah,
They were probably just gonna ban it.
I don't know if they can ban it. I mean, the chains do affect it, and I do like the fact that chains do like limit that deck from being super powerful.
Like make it power 2.
So let me tell you guys something else before we start talking about ideas for how we can change this or if it should be changed. In one of the Vault Tours, I think it was the Illinois one, and I believe we've mentioned this before, they didn't have, the winning deck did not have a way to forge on their turn. They had a Nepenthe Seed, and they had library access. And they literally drew their entire deck and gained a ton of amber. And now they've got their entire deck in their hand, and they passed the turn and a ton of amber.
yeah.
How do you beat that? It doesn't even matter that you forge a key or not.
Yeah.
How do you beat someone that has their 30 cards in their hand? I don't know how many cards. 20 cards in their hand. When you have 6. So, like, is the problem even the fact that you can forge keys on your turn?
So you think you should limit your hand size? You know,
Well, that would be weird. I
Yeah.
don't think they should do that, but that is an interesting idea. That is one thing.
like the max hand size you could get like 6.
It's 10
or
cards or
10
something.
cards.
Oh, and then you have to discard the cards if you go over that limit.
That would be a pretty big change.
That would be.
That would be a huge change. And like logos would have to be ruined because all it is about drawing cards.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of putting limits on things. So let me ask you guys this. What card is the problem here in this combo?
Probably
Nepenthe Seed.
just let me see, yeah.
You think it's the Nepenthe Seed?
It's
Or
either-
library access. Probably library access is a problem.
both
here.
of them are really the problem.
The
but I
Nepenthe
think-
Seed is just bring a card back from your discard. That if you don't have library access with that, then it's not that overpowered.
I feel like it could just be library access that is a problem because
It
there
is
are
a
other
problem.
cards to get library access back. Like there could be like a Maverick card from another house that can get cards from a discard pile.
Yeah.
that could do that. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but I feel like there has to be other cards like Nepenthe Seed.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if there are other cards that return any. There's like Regrowth that can return a creature.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
I can't think of any.
Arise.
Arise returns all creatures too.
I like that card. It's good.
Witch of the Eye for reaping and
Oh,
return
true.
a
Yeah,
card.
any card. Yeah.
Yeah, and if Witch of the Eye is like a Maverick of Logos, then it could just work out for library access.
That would be pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, I've
I
been
didn't
thinking a
realize
lot
that.
about this because
Huh.
see, I think the mistake was that they made. I think there's two mistakes here. One mistake is that Nepenthe Seed has an Omni ability.
Yeah.
If Nepenthe Seed had an action that was just had to be done in
Untamed.
Untamed,
I mean, that could still be a problem. Maverick of like library access.
it'd be so rare though. You'd hardly ever hit those.
Yeah.
That is true.
So there'll be less infinite decks.
But honestly, like I'm okay with Nepenthe Seed having an Omni ability. I don't think library access should be able to stack.
Exactly.
I don't think you should be able to play 3 library accesses, and I think it should just be errated so that the max number of cards you can draw from each card that you play is 1.
From
You shouldn't be able to like Nepenthe Seed library access, play it again. Now every time you play a card, you draw 2. They should just limit you to 1 card.
That would make it way better.
You just
Yeah.
errata it so that you can only ever draw a max of 1 card from every one you play. So library access doesn't stack. If you play another library access, you draw a card from library access, but it doesn't make 2 of those go on the stack.
The only
Makes sense.
mistake probably they made is making library access. I don't think.
I mean, I
they
like
should've
library
made a card.
access.
I kind of sort of agree with Andrew though. Like library access,
They should have not made it.
because of the way.
Overpowered.
I mean, the fact that the card itself is so literally you can take any another combination of the cards without library access, and I can't think of a way to do an infinite combo where you draw your entire deck.
Yeah.
There might be. I don't want to say there isn't, but I haven't seen any.
But most of them are just library access.
Library access is like really powerful.
They should have not made it. Super good.
But they have made it.
That's the situation.
Yeah, that's a situation. I don't know what that means, but situation. They have made it, and I think the thing to do now is nerf library access so that you can only draw, or once you play it, it's purged.
Oh, that's interesting.
That could work. Well, there are some cards that can bring back purge cards.
Really?
I've never seen any.
Never seen any.
They might do that in the future.
There probably are with the new cards.
What if library access had alpha on it, where you
That
have to play it the
would
first
be
card at
better.
the beginning of your turn, and then you can't play anymore?
Or even an
Oh.
Omni ability. Oh, no.
No, that'll make
No.
it worse.
Never
I
mind.
was like an Omni ability.
How does that make?
Yeah. Are you talking about? I think you were talking about the
Art of
I mean,
what is that? The other ability. Anyway, I think
the problem
library
is,
access has to change. That's my opinion.
but the problem is, all the starter decks that have library access says how to use it, though,
I know.
and they can't change that. So they're gonna people that are gonna start off that has that card is gonna think, oh, this is how we play it, but it's actually different now.
So the thing is, though, is they errata cards all the time. So like Biomatrix Backup, for example.
Yeah.
They've errated that card. They've already errated a card from the Age of Ascension.
Really?
Yeah, you remember that giant that we talked about, where you play it and you have to
Right.
return stuff? They changed it now to You May. So like, I think if they were to take and change library access, new set comes out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First off, I love my infinite kill deck, but I actually would feel guilty playing it against a new player. Even if I have a 50% chance of hitting that infinite combo, when I hit that infinite combo, there's nothing they can do. And that's just not fun gameplay. And to me, it's like,
It's not fair.
KeyForge has to be a fun game. And they need to be very careful in the future not to ever make it where someone can forge more than 1 key a turn.
So,
Normally.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are situations where, like, you should have 15 amber, you forge a key at the beginning of your turn, and then you key charge the other.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Because your opponent had time to react to your 15 amber.
But he didn't, so.
But for the one-turn kill decks, you have no time to react. Unless you have artifact control to take out their Nepenthe Seed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing.
That is really the only thing that can stop
I
it.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
But there are some ways you can stop infinite decks. Like you can return Nepenthe Seeds back in their hand. You can destroy them with Neutron Shark. Like you can do a lot to like.
You
slow
have to
down
go after the
them.
Nepenthe Seed hard.
Yes.
The problem is
not many decks have ways to deal with
artifact
it?
control
Yeah.
is very rare, and if you have a card like Nexus, for example, they're probably going to kill it before they play Nepenthe Seed. And then if there are good cards out there like Remote Access and Logos that let you just use it, and because you use it,
And there are also Sanctum cards that Sanctum artifact that
returns it.
that destroys it.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Just
Gorm of I don't know.
So it kills itself to kill another
Yeah.
one.
I think the KeyForge like mindset when they're making like purposely making this infinite combo. Did they purposely?
I would be willing to bet money. Now I could be
That
completely
they
wrong,
didn't make
that
it.
they didn't realize that this was an infinite combo. I think KeyForge was made by a pretty small team, and I'm sure they had people test it and figure it out. But the game was out a little while before the community even figured out that was possible. Because here's the thing: when you make a game where decks are randomly generated, you cannot possibly test all
Predict them,
combinations.
Yeah.
And they're probably testing like crazy, the team that they do have. But they are a smaller company. This isn't like a Wizards of the Coast company.
Or Magic.
Magic. So Wizards of the Coast makes Magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought the creator of Magic made KeyForge.
he did, yeah, but he doesn't work for Wizards of the Coast anymore. Sometimes he'll consult with them. That's Richard Garfield, by the way.
Oh.
Okay.
He was the original creator, but the next set, for example, he was part design. There was like 2 designers on it, from what I read. They each created like 75% of the cards.
Wow.
So, and then basically, so they over-created cards, and then they bring them together, and they remove cards out that don't make sense, and they try different combinations.
The problem was it didn't remove library access.
So, and honestly, you don't realize how good or big a card game's going to be
Until it
until it comes out.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Magic the Gathering has had infinite combos happen too. So I mean, it's not like it's
Magic has infinite?
yeah. I mean, especially if you go back in the older formats, there are like
I never knew that.
yeah. You haven't played a lot of the older like real Magic. Your experience with Magic is Commander and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there are actually infinite combos you can do in Commander too, where you can gain infinite life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
How do
crazy.
you win? How do you get defeated?
You
can
pretty
switch
much
life.
don't.
I mean, you could like somehow switch life. Maybe.
I mean, there are cards that are like set an opponent's life to 5 or 20 or whatever. There are
Yeah.
cards that bring you back down.
But very rarely those cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, the other card that makes this work, in my opinion, is Phase Shift.
oh right.
What's that card do again?
Phase
It lets
Shift
you
lets
play
you play
another house.
another
Oh.
non-logos card.
Yeah.
So let's take for example and say you have library access and a Nepenthe Seed. If you don't have a Phase Shift,
Then you can't forge keys.
you can't forge keys.
Because you have to use another
You
house.
have to use another house to forge a key. So I did want to just call out Phase Shift a little bit because Phase Shift makes all of that come together. But honestly, this is just my opinion. You take all of that away, it's still an amazing combo if you can draw your entire deck.
Yes.
Because now you have all the answers in your hand to whatever your opponent's doing.
Like, and your opponent's probably gonna have like 6 cards.
Your opponent is going to have 6 cards and you're going to have 10, 15, 20 cards in your hand. And then like you're going to call Shadows and you're going to be able to play everything and you're going to be so far ahead.
Yeah, like bait and switch and like tons of merchants.
creatures.
Sets of
Yeah.
seals.
Yeah.
How like there's no way you can come back from that.
I feel like, for the sake of the game, I guess my request would be that at tournaments, they change library access to limit its ability. Let library access do what it's intended to do, draw you extra cards and logos,
Okay.
but not draw your entire deck. Limit it to where you can't actually Nepenthe Seed
Stack.
library access back. You can, but it's not going to make you draw 2 cards now.
Mm-hmm.
Or library access is a one-time thing that gets purged at the end, after you play it. or some other thing like alpha getting applied to it.
But then people are not going to really want library access in their deck if this gets purged.
If you can save up a good turn and you can draw 6 extra cards with library access, I think that's pretty darn amazing.
Me too.
I think that's really strong. I think purged is the extreme. I think alpha is something that I really kind of like.
Yeah, so
you have to play it as your very first card.
Yeah.
And then...
What do you mean first card? Do you mean like...
Alpha is the first card you have to play.
So alpha, there's a new ability. Yeah, we probably showed you. In Age of Ascension, there's a new... you play a lot of Call of Arcanines, but there's new abilities, keywords, in the new set. Alpha is one of them that says you have to play this card before doing anything.
And there's a mega that makes you have to play the card last.
Yeah, and once you play the mega card, your turn ends. If you play an alpha card, and say you have another alpha card in your hand, you can't play it. You have to wait. So alpha cards are like, they have to be played first. So getting back...
So you have to choose the house and then play that first?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
And then the Pinty Seed, I mean, that fixes the problem.
It does.
It really does.
Watch how they do that.
They might. I mean, I'm sure we're not the only ones that have talked about that. I think I've seen, like... I haven't seen people talk about how to change it that much, but I think I've seen, like, some conversations in forums go on around library access needing to be changed as well. So, I mean, it's not just us. It's not just me that thinks that library access is a problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do think
The
that.
tricky thing is like, I hope the new set comes out.
And edits the...
And they say now that alpha's a keyword, library access is alpha.
So they might change it. So Dad, you probably should sell your infinite deck before it's too late.
Maybe. I don't know if they are going to change it though. I mean, to me, I'd rather the value of my deck go down, because I don't really care about the monetary value. I'd rather that value go down and have a game be more fun for new players.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a tournament. You know, if we go to Atlanta and there's new people that are just like playing for a couple of weeks and they have to sit there and be like, okay, oh, you win? Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That ain't fun. You sit there bored, out of your mind, waiting for something to happen. Yeah, it's crazy to me that something hasn't happened like that. The fact that one of them has won a tournament now.
An infinite deck won a tournament?
It wasn't infinite, but it was a way to draw their entire deck, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shows me that they are good, but the fact that they haven't been dominating tournaments might be a reason that they don't care. But I still step it down a little bit in that the game should always be fun. And to me, like, the second the fun factor is in danger,
Yeah.
change something.
People would usually get mad at me when I played my Parents of Freedom Dirt, and I don't think they're looking at the fun factor for decks, so that's probably one reason why.
I mean, you're right. It's not fun to lose, right?
Yeah.
Regardless. I still say, though, on the Crucible, for me, most of the time people are pretty happy or pretty nice. And I don't mind losing. Actually, I don't think I've ever felt... Even when I get one turn killed, I'm like, oh, okay. Actually, when the guy key abducted me, I'm like, man, that is awesome. I actually was wanting a deck like that because I want to forge keys for free.
Was he talking to you? Or?
Yeah, when he was doing it, I'm like, as he started triggering them, I'm like, I haven't looked at your deck list. Do you have the combo to forge keys too? And he said yes, and he goes, I actually do own this deck too. So,
you should ask how much do you want for that.
but most of the time, people are really nice on there, and I guess to me, the only time they got mad is when I used my one turn kill deck against them. Like, there was one person on there that said, like, you may think that's cute, but that's not cute at all, and then you left. And I'm like, I'm sorry. So I quit playing that on there, because I just don't want to make it not fun for people.
Yeah.
But I will say against your deck is frustrating, because you can, like, you think that you're going to forge a key, but you just never let that happen. You have so many answers to things.
He does.
And you have ways to, like, force the board state to do things that you want it to do.
Yeah.
So I could see someone getting frustrated against your deck because you just don't let anything happen.
This happened a couple times in a row. I did this couple matches. Someone searched up my deck and said, "Oh wow, you have 8 chains," and then automatically leaves.
Really?
Yeah. And then the next game, I was say it's like they saw my combo, like, "Wow, you must have a good deck." I was like, "Yeah, I do. You look like a good deck too." And they checked out my deck, 8 chains, and it's like, "You have 8 chains?" And he's like, I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm gonna lose," and he just left. And it's like, It makes me feel bad about having chains. You know, it's because
I guess I've never had a deck with that many chains. Most of mine always have 2 and 3 and something on there. Man, I did play against a deck on there that was a 98 SAS against my best deck, and they just obliterated me. And they had a bunch of chains on their deck too. So there are some good decks for
Did they own the deck?
I didn't ask them.
Do you know what houses they had?
The best 3 houses, in my opinion:
Logos,
Shadows, Logos, and Untamed. So, and I'm like, okay. So then I look up their SAS rating. Sometimes I do check. I don't check. I check maybe 25% of the time. But this guy like started off really good. I'm like, oh, I gotta see what's this deck. And I'm like, with a 98, I'm like, yeah, this is bad.
How many chains did it have?
It had like 4.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like it's like 4 to 5 or something. It wasn't ridiculous.
Shadow, Logos, and Untamed is the best house. 3 houses. There is a 105 SAS deck and a 74.5 AERC.
Man, that's so crazy.
It's insane.
That is
So-
pretty insane. Yeah.
I guess going back to our original thing is like the fun factor does matter because the way that we get this game to grow is we get new people in there.
And the only way to get new people is make the game fun to make people want to play more and more and buy new.
So then there's actually tournaments at the
places. And
Yeah.
people will come. Yeah.
I mean, I actually have played differently against people because I wanted them to have more fun.
Me
at
too.
tournaments.
Yeah.
So like if it was a new, you do that at the tournaments too?
I do. Yeah.
Because I like feel bad for a new person when I could just keep him from never forking a key. So I'll let him get a key.
That's what I did one time.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this instead. And that may not be something that I would do. I would never do that in a real tournament. And it has actually cost me games because I give them a little too much sometimes. You know what I mean? Like because I could have kept them from their first key, and then I'm like, okay, well I'm just going to let them get their second key, and I could have stopped them the whole time. And then all of a sudden, like I get a little bit behind because I've given them so much leeway to get up with me again, and then I'll lose. So. I have to be careful of where I let that board.
I only let them get 1 key. Like
That's your line. Isn't
that's
it?
my line. Yeah.
1 key, that's it.
I was playing against a new person at the tournament, and I stopped him so many times, and then I'm like, oh wait, you can actually get a key. You know what? Whatever.
It's like, I mean, I could tell the guy I was playing against at the last tournament was getting frustrated because I literally would not let him forge a key, and I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, all right, I can definitely stop this, and I probably should because I have to be a decent player, but I'm going to let him get it, and then I'm going to just set up another.
Did you look relieved after you got him? KeyForge.
He's like, oh, I finally get a key. I don't know how he did it. So I mean, I do feel bad for people, and honestly, I think that's just part of being like part of the community is you want people to have fun with this game, and somebody that like myself that's been playing since literally the day the game came out. To people that are just playing like a week or two now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like, I've heard played hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 games of KeyForge, count all the ones we played on Crucible and in person and tournaments and stuff.
1,000?
Yeah, I mean, I've played hundreds on the Crucible probably.
Oh, wow.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Play a lot.
Yeah. So, it's just not fair because I just have more experience of knowing what to do. I know what deck is good and what deck's bad.
Yeah.
So a good deck to them might not actually be a good deck, for example.
I'm really hoping at Atlanta, like, they make it where it's new cards. Because it's
too.
at the board.
The
and it's sealed. And it's sealed. Like,
Maybe
they're
if it's
all
sealed.
So, like, they give 3 of the newest cards decks, and we have to figure out what the cards do. And
That would be amazing.
That would be just awesome.
It would be amazing. I mean, they said the end of May,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, that's what I've heard.
They could, like, they might make it where Shadow is, like, actually now the bad house, and, like, Mars is the actual, like, good house now. It's like, it's...
Sanctum's actually looking pretty good too.
It is.
Yeah.
With the new 7 ambassadors.
Yeah, the 6 ambassadors.
6
What does
ambassadors.
ambassadors do?
6 ambassadors.
No, I thought it was 7 because 7 houses.
But they don't have an ambassador for themselves.
Oh,
There's 6
okay.
of them, yeah. So basically, the ambassador is a 1-power elusive creature.
And there's a special ambassador for each different house. Like one ambassador,
Mars ambassador.
Really?
This ambassador,
This ambassador.
Logos ambassador.
Huh.
And you can tap it, and then you can play or use a card of like that house.
Wow.
Play.
That's pretty.
That's amazing.
That's
I
crazy.
love that.
Like gain a bunch of Amber of Sanctum, key charge, or like gain a bunch of Amber, Use fire spitter to attack, one damage to everything.
Wouldn't that-
Cleansing wave.
Wouldn't that create an infinite?
I don't know. I haven't seen all the cards yet. We don't know all the cards that are going to be in there. The ones that will carry over.
That could, because if those ambassadors, like,
They tap, so they can't just keep doing it over and over again.
okay,
So you get like one use out of them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't return anything, but it can do stuff like Adam was saying. It's like they don't expect a key charge, and who knows if key charge is even going to be in the new set. They don't expect a key charge, but you use your Mars Ambassador or your Untamed Ambassador. They would be for that one for key charge, and then play your key charge. Be kind of cool.
interesting.
So anyway, fun factors number 1 in my mind. Do you guys have anything else for closing thoughts?
Not really.
No.
Me either. I just hope we do some tournaments here again soon. I think they were going to do some next weekend, but I asked them at their local game store yesterday, and they said they have one coming up in May, and then they're waiting for the new set. So we do have a tournament coming up in May. Hopefully we can get some good showing. Bring people there, guys. All right. Anyway, happy Easter, everyone, and
Keep gaming.
Keep gaming.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye. See you guys.